Okay, hi everyone. My name is Helen Waldegorgas. I'm a fourth year ethnic studies and rhetoric double major, and I'm from San Diego, California. The first CDAD class that I took was back in the spring of 2010, and so that'll be mostly what I'm talking about today. Why did you take CDAD? What was it you thought? Was it what you thought it would be? The reason why I took CDAD was because at the time I was working for a wonderful boss named Akira Bradley, and she was a part of the group that wanted to get CDAD off of the floor, and she really recommended that I take a course. So it was with her guidance and her encouragement that I decided to go ahead and take it. And it actually ended up working out really well because it rounded out my schedule and it fit in a perfect time in my schedule. So I was really excited that I could take it. Was it what I thought it would be? I really didn't have any expectations, especially since it was the first semester that CDAD was going to be run here. So I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And in that sense, because I didn't have any expectations, no, it wasn't what I thought it would be because I really had no idea what was going to happen. But I was pleasantly surprised because it ended up being a really great experience for me here at Cal. Were you ever nervous to open up in your CDAD course? Why or why not? I consider myself to be a pretty shy person, so I imagined that being in a class with a few people would be really difficult for me to open up, and it actually ended up being the opposite. Because there were so few people, I found it really easy to be vocal in that space. I would also give credit to the wonderful facilitators that I had, JP and Dawn, because they really encouraged group dialogue and they made it a very safe space for all of the participants to open up. Yes, I was nervous at times, but I found myself pushing through it more than I have in any other space that I've been in Berkeley so far. And I think a part of that is because of the small number, but I also think it was because we had a great group of students and really excellent facilitators. How is your CDAD different, or how was CDAD different or stand apart from your other Cal courses? There are a lot of things that set CDAD apart for me compared to the other classes that I've taken here at Berkeley. I think one of the most obvious differences is the small class size and the intimate relationship that you develop with the other students and with the facilitators there. Most of the classes that I have now as an upper division student are still pretty small in that they're 30 to 40 students, but I find it really intimidating to go up to a GSI or to go up to a professor or even to communicate with my peers, and I never felt that way in CDAD. I always felt like my voice was welcome, I was always encouraged to participate, and I felt like my opinions were valued. And in the competitive climate that Berkeley has sort of developed, I don't necessarily feel that way on the main campus. So CDAD was really positive for me in the sense that I felt like my voice was really valued, and I don't know that I've felt that way in a lot of my other classes. Has CDAD had an impact on how you interact with others? I would definitely say that it has. I think Berkeley in general has challenged me a lot in the assumptions that I make about people, but I can pinpoint CDAD as a space where a lot of the assumptions that I made were specifically challenged for the purposes of creating an open dialogue. So the class that I took was about class in America. It was great. I would recommend it to everybody. It was really, really awesome. And I had never really thought about class before. It was sort of I think it's something that affects all of us, but that we don't really take a lot of time to consciously think about. And so being in a class for 2 hours every week, putting class at the forefront of my mind, put me in a really different headspace than any other space that I might have been involved in on campus. So it impacted me by making me more aware of a really critical part of my identity and about other people's identities. Has CDAD provided you with the tools to have these discussions outside of class? Yes, I think the whole purpose of CDAD is a part of its name, like critical dialogues across difference. We want people to be able to have these important dialogues, not just in this safe space, but also in other venues. And I think the confidence that I built in CDAD allowed me to be able to translate that outside of the class that I was taking. I think that's happened for me in a lot of different places, but I really appreciate CDAD for emphasizing how important dialogue is because I was never aware of it until I took that class in the spring. Tell us about your co-facilitation experience. Which course? All right, so I loved CDAD so much that I decided to co-facilitate a course the following year. So in the spring of 2011, I facilitated the CDAD course about class with Mike Bishop. And it was a really wonderful experience. Mike is probably one of the smartest people that I've ever met in my entire life. He's a genius. He's read like every book, and he can recommend anything to you at any point in time. And it was really wonderful working with him because he's a professional staff member here on campus who has a lot of experience in a lot of different areas, and I'm a student who otherwise never would have crossed paths with him. So one, it was great co-facilitating with him because I don't know that we would have met in another space. Two, I was able to learn a ton from him just as a person and in informal meetings that we would have with each other. And three, he had a really different perspective on class than I did, and he knows a lot more about it than I do. So co-facilitating with him, I think, was helpful for our larger group because we come from very different backgrounds. I remember I was a little bit nervous about co-facilitating with him because I didn't know him before CDAD had started, and at the end I couldn't, when the whole process was over, there's nobody else that I would have wanted to do it with because he was really, really amazing. Last question, is there anything else you'd like to share? What was your most memorable experience? I don't know that there's anything else that I want to share other than I'm really happy that I took the CDAD courses that I did and that I had the opportunity to facilitate one myself. I think it's taught me to be more confident in the voice that I have and to share it with more people because I can err on the side of being more quiet if given the opportunity. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been a part of CDAD because it's been one of the best experiences that I've had here at Berkeley. Bye.
Very good. Okay, so just, let me see. I'm going to see if I can pause it. All right, okay.